Welcome to the Jamodi podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it.
What's up, Coach? Are you looking for a way to elevate your off-season skill development? Well, look no further. With the Bology app, you can build a workout with our library or create your own content. Send that workout to your players, and then your players complete the workout by recording their session on their phones. You can monitor and encourage competition with our leaderboards for every workout. Bology offers player development solutions in the palm of your hands. Get your team started today by going to bology.com for more info.
And that's a really good point. I would imagine with USA Basketball, you have a ton of those 6'8", 6'9" guys that you can do a lot of things with. And on that note, I just got this from online, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but 30-0 with USA Basketball with 5 gold medals. Is that right, or am I completely off on that?
No, that's correct. That's correct.
Like that's incredible. One, thank you so much for what you've done with USA Basketball and training up our younger players. Like that's incredible. But to your point, I think you almost have to be fluid, like what does Bruce Lee say, like water, with those teams that you have, because you don't know from year to year what you're going to have.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going to have from year to year. We know how we like to build the teams, but then again, you have several guys come into training camp and you're trying to put together the best team. It's not about how many 5 stars are on a team or how many 4 stars on a team. It can be a 2-star. They fit the team that we're trying to build. And we just, again, we don't get much time with these young men. We have a training camp. We select the team and then we go play. So we have to be very, very intentional about, like what it is that we need from this team and what it is that we're trying to, we feel like that'll help us go win a gold medal. I mean, when you look at it, Coach Showalter, he's one of my mentors and he's guided me through that USA process because he did it for so long. But, we always say that, we have our 5, let's say we got our starting 5 and let's say Spain has their starting 5. Let's say they match up evenly because you're going to put your best 5 out there. But where we make our biggest strides are the next 7 guys because, we can bring off another 5-star. We can bring off all these guys that are continue to build and take the other teams, juices down because of the fact that they won't be able to go as deep and as talented as we are. And, contrary to what everybody says, the world's catching up. And I do think the world is getting better, but I still think we're the standard. We're still the standard.
For a high school coach that has never been involved with anything like that outside of the select world here with Darren Williams to lead a few years ago, which isn't around anymore. But when you select a team, I would imagine you just have some of the best talent in the country. Man, you just pick the best players. Like, how hard is this? But to your point, there's way more that goes into it than that. So if you don't mind sharing a little bit, what does it look like to build the team at that level?
Well, for us, we do mini camps, which we do a fall mini camp the first week of October. And then we do a mini camp in the spring at the Final Four site. And what that does is give us opportunity to be able to put eyes on kids and be able to see them in that environment, because USA Basketball, it's a different environment because you're all around good players. And, it's easy for a kid to go and dominate their high school team or even their travel team if they're the best player. But when you're in a room with 80 of the best players on their team, like, you got 80 players and they're all pretty much the best player on their team. That's a different dynamic. And I think, it's an adjustment for players. And we have those mini camps and we're able to evaluate, we're able to take them through a lot of the things we do at USA to see who can adapt and see who can, adjust. And, after those mini camps, we generally will be playing in a FIBA tournament this summer. So we'll have a training camp where we'll invite back 30 kids.
So from 80 to 30.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean it's all 30 from those mini camps because there's some kids that might not attend mini camp. We might see them during the high school season. You
Yeah.
know, our guys that go out and scout and look at different kids, they could find a what do you call it? A diamond in
Diamond
the
in the rough. Yeah.
yeah,
What was it? What was Shaq's character in Blue Chips where he was down
yeah,
in that
exactly.
little gym?
Yeah, you might find one of those. I mean, we found those,
Yeah.
and so we bring back those 30, and then we'll have a training camp, and after a few days, we'll cut it down. Pretty much to about 16 or so, and then we'll cut down to 12, and those 12 we'll leave and take off for where we're playing at. This past summer we played the U16s and we played it in Mexico. So we took off and went to Mexico. This summer we'll play the 17s and we'll take off and we'll go to Istanbul, Turkey, and we'll go play in the World Cup, which is one of the premier of the national team tournaments. So we'll pick those teams, man, and again, it's not easy because
Man.
all the kids have never been cut before. They've never been cut before. So, it's a humbling experience, but it's a growing experience too. We've had kids that got cut one year and they came back and they made it the next year, or
Yeah.
had kids that made it the first year and then didn't, got complacent. And I always say complacency will get you replaced, and they come back and they don't make it the next year. And so it's a really grind, but you get a chance to represent your country, you get a chance to represent your community, your family, and yourself in the process of this. So it's very, very it's completely one of the best honors I've ever been able to have as a coach, because I feel like it's an honor where I'm not across the line shooting, and trying to survive in the field somewhere. I'm getting to serve my country from the sidelines.
Yeah.
It's no way in comparison to what our servicemen and servicewomen have to do, but I do feel like I'm doing my part in such a small, small way.
Yeah. Coach Showalter's talked about those kids that were cut, that did come back, that used that adversity in their life or the struggle to make themselves better. And I got to imagine that those are cool stories for you when you see those kids. Like, yeah, that is a tough conversation with a guy that is so talented, to let him know that it just wasn't enough, but to see them come back, talk about rewarding right there, right?
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, Justice Winslow's probably one of the more famous stories. I'm pretty sure Showalter shared that one, but he got cut, came back, and he was just unbelievable and made the team. And he's kind of carried that edge and that chip on his shoulder ever since. I mean, and it's given him a really good long basketball career in the NBA. And it's stories like that you're able to share as well with players that are going through the process. And it's funny because I remember one year we picked, I think it was in 2000 and maybe 17, I think, but a team was selected and some guys didn't make it, and I remember Justin going on social media telling those guys didn't make it, just keep your head up. I went through the same process, and I think those are the stories that help make kids who they are as well. It gives them opportunity to be able to see that this didn't just happen to me. It's happened to other guys, and just to see the bounce back, because you always one of our pillars of USA basketball, or one of our DNA is resiliency. Are you able to bounce back? And that doesn't just mean, in a game, but just period.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.